She hot! Dishes off to Jones, kicks it out to Aaron Hart, 4 seconds. Oh my goodness! He hits the three.
You kidding me, Aaron Martin?
Well, hello and welcome to Wildcat Week. I'm Roger Alcock. We're going to talk some volleyball first today. The Lady Wildcats traveled to Bethel this past Friday and played a dominating match against the Pilots, winning in straight sets by scores of 25-15, 25-16, and 25-16. Leading the way for the Wildcats were sophomore Megan Miller with 12 kills and also junior Bianca Cifaldi with 11 kills. Other Lady Wildcats putting up some nice numbers that day. Senior Katie Holler, 19 assists, and sophomore Emily Workman with 15 assists. The Lady Wildcats also traveled then to Huntington on Halloween to take on the Foresters in another Crossroads League matchup. The Lady Wildcats won the first two sets by scores of 25-15 and 25-13, but then the Foresters fought back, winning in a close third set, 25-23. Then the Lady Wildcats finished the game in a nail-biter, 25-23, winning the match by a final score of 3-1. Leading the way for the Wildcats were senior Kristen Pradina with 12 kills, and both Katie Holler and Emily Workman with 30 assists apiece. Well, now joining me is the head coach of the Lady Wildcat volleyball team, Candace Moats. And Candace, you got back into some conference action. We talked about Bethel and Huntington. Those are coming off of really a dynamic game at Georgetown on the road where you beat the number 18 team on their home court. So you guys are playing pretty good volleyball going down the stretch heading into the postseason now.
Yeah, it's like, you know, volleyball, there's so many matches, and it's like, how do you go into each match now at this point and just not think of it as another match? So we're trying to work on that mindset of it's not just another match, it's another opportunity to get where we want to go. And so everybody's kind of trying to get their second win, and I think we're getting there. I think we're getting closer to that.
Well, you finished out the regular season on senior night in Lucky Arena against the Maple Leafs of Goshen College, a game where you honored three of your seniors, Kelly Cipher, Katie Holler, Kristen Pradina. Didn't get off to the greatest start in that match, got off a little bit slowly. Maybe a little letdown coming in this match, or just, well, as we take a look at the highlights, talk about the start of that match.
Yeah, I could see kind of even at the beginning, this team is a really interesting team. They somewhat just kind of went in there thinking, you know, almost like it was boring. And, you know, no one should be boring at this point because everyone's going to bring their best attempts, especially when somebody's in a do or die situation. They're going to play for their lives. And so, you know, I don't know exactly how to bring the urgency to this team, but I knew we were going to win it, but my mentality was kind of just to stay even keeled because I knew it was not going to be a high energy match.
Never really got a dominating lead in this first set, winning the first set 25-20. But I did think one lady who had a really consistent night for you throughout was Emily Workman. She had a nice night.
Yeah, you know, when we called it, actually they called a timeout after they kind of pulled ahead we pulled ahead a couple points in that first set. And we were just like, what do you guys need to, like, just get yourselves motivated to kind of bring energy into this game? And so, you know, Em was kind of like which is really neat to see a sophomore kind of step in and go, we need energy, we need enthusiasm, we need communication, and that kind of like spurred on kind of the three that we tried to achieve throughout the set. So that was kind of neat to be able to see her kind of step up.
In the second set now, starting to pick it up a little bit. And in this set, this is maybe one of the longest volleys of the whole night. Saw earlier though, Ashlyn Buck, she had one of her 13 digs. She started picking it up in that match, and in the third, kind of leading the way defensively for you guys.
Yeah, Ash, you know, we kind of always say if Ashlyn's playing well, we're all playing well because Ashlyn's kind of the spark plug of getting those passes on the net and being able to just kind of run the offense with her first contact. And so we try to really keep Ashlyn even-keeled and positive and confident because we need that from her.
Another kind of standout players, we look at now in the third set, you get a lot of intensity from Katie Holler. She really is kind of an emotional player and sets the tone for you guys in a lot of ways.
Katie is just a persevering, competitive, we're going to win, and she doesn't do it out loud. She does it in her play, and we've tried to get her to do it out loud, but I'm kind of glad that she does show action in it because really that's the bottom line what you need instead of just a bunch of talk. You do need to have it demonstrated, and she does lead people, especially those nights last night when they had those little kills, those tip kills they were trying to get, and Katie flew in and picked all of them up, so that was cool.
Well, in the minute we have left, Coach, one, congratulate the senior class, 67-5 in their career in league play. Unbelievable. Every year, either an outright or a share of a conference championship. That's an impressive achievement. Yeah,
it's just been really, I'm so grateful. You look back at that and it's you can't really ever calculate that and make that happen, but the program's just blessed and I'm grateful for that.
Well, coming up next, St. Francis in the first round of the tournament have to get right back at it on Saturday and take on the Cougars.
Yep, we're ready.
All right. Well, Coach, we really want to say again congratulations to this team and this class. Again, another, this time a share of the Crossroads League regular season championship. And good luck in the tournament. Love to see you bring home a tournament championship and another trip to NAI Nationals. That'd be awesome.
We would love that too.
All right. Well, when we come back, we'll take a look at highlights of the women's soccer upset on the road of St. Francis, and we'll be joined by Coach Tim Strader. Then we'll be joined by the men's soccer coach, Luke Sanford, to discuss their win against Goshen. So stick around. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. The women's soccer team traveled to St. Francis this past Saturday to play in the Crossroads League quarterfinals. The game started off a little slow with the Wildcats not being able to find any opportunities until the 25th minute. The Wildcats had a free kick at the edge of the 18-yard box where senior Nicole Biggs played the ball in and found junior Lizzie Rittenhouse, who heads it into the back of the net, putting the Wildcats up 1-0. Less than 5 minutes after the last Wildcat goal, the ladies struck again what would be the game-winning goal in the 30th minute, where the Wildcats had a build-up from the defensive third, which resulted with a goal from senior Allie Custer, giving the Wildcats a comfortable 2-0 lead going into the half. Well, coming out of the halftime, the ladies struck early with a scoring opportunity on the corner kick as senior Carrie Devney plays a ball to senior Susan Anthony as she one-times it to keep to put the Wildcats up with a commanding lead, 3-0. St. Francis avoided shutout with a score late in the contest, making it a final score of 3-1. The Lady Wildcats moved to the Crossroads League semifinals for the first time in 5 seasons, where they'll face the Cougars of Spring Arbor in Michigan. Well, also, we want to mention that senior Katie Pannebecker earned a major award Tuesday as she was named the Crossroads League Women's Soccer Defensive Player of the Year. Joining Pannebecker on the All-Crossroads League team was junior Caitlin Gishwiller and junior Lizzie Rittenhouse. Well, I'm joined now by the women's soccer team head coach Tim Strader. And Coach, nice win on the road in the tournament, 3-1. You guys found a little bit of offense that night.
Absolutely. No, we prepared well. I can say the nice part about the Crossroads League is that you have a week between each game. So it gave us a good chance to implement our offense exactly how we wanted to play. The girls executed spot on. I mean, we dominated possession and we achieved our goals going into that match.
And as we said, for the first time in 5 seasons, which doesn't seem possible, but moving on into the semifinals, you take on a team in Spring Arbor, but the class of the league this season, always a strong program. They're ranked, number 6 in the nation right now. But you played them tough earlier in the season. You guys got nothing to lose going up there and see if you can't pull off another upset.
Absolutely. In my 3 tries against Spring Arbor, we've lost 2-0, 5-3, and 2-0. So we're going to go back to the drawing board this week. We're going to draw up some different game plans to try to kind of counteract their high-powered offense. They've won the league 5 years in a row. Haven't lost a league game or a tournament game in actually the past 4 years. So we do have our hands full, all credit to them, but I really believe we got the group that can go get the job done. We've got a special group of seniors and 3 all-conference kids that are chomping at the bit, ready to go.
I want to talk a little bit about some of those all-conference performances. Katie, named the Defensive Player of the Year. Anytime you're the Player of the Year in a conference, a particular position, that's a real high honor.
Absolutely. To speak to her credit, she is one of the most Christ-honoring, humble kids you're ever going to meet. She is just a tremendous kid. And to that, she was actually our team's leading goal scorer last year as a striker. So for her first freshman through junior year, she was our team's leading goal scorer, all-conference kid last year as a striker. Came in, we had a need at center back, went to her and asked, and she was like, "Yep, Coach, I'd be happy to." And it just models servant leadership. I mean, that's what you want from your senior class is they're willing to serve and lead in whatever capacity, and she is just tremendous in every asset of her game.
All right, well, Coach, again, thanks for coming on in, talking about that quarterfinals win, and good luck to you guys Saturday against Spring Arbor. Should be a great one.
Thank you. We're excited.
Well, now switching over to the men's team where they hosted Goshen College for the first match in the Crossroads League tournament. In this game, weather was definitely a factor where game time conditions, 50 degrees and 20-mile-per-hour winds. So beautiful night out at Wildcat Field. Not much happened in this contest until the 30th minute. That's when junior Caleb Denlinger makes an incredibly difficult shot. Kind of surprises the Goshen goalkeeper. Their tough angle, and he gets it into the back of the net. The Wildcats take the 1-0 lead. Wildcats controlled possession throughout most of the opening half. They outshot the Maple Leafs 11-2 there in the first half. Well, as we move on into the second half, we'll fast forward to the 56th minute where senior Josh Gepper comes up, punches that one away. He and the defense help to preserve the Wildcats' lead. The Wildcats maintained the lead until freshman Eddie Hernandez for the Wildcats made this shot from way outside the 18-yard box to send the Wildcats onto another victory. Final score 2-0. Gepper and the defense earned their 11th shutout of the season, which ranks them 11th in the NAIA. Now the men move on to the Crossroads League semifinals, where they'll host the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene at 7 p.m. Well, joining me now is the head coach of the men's soccer team, Coach Luke Sanford. And Coach, did you have your parka on that night?
It was cold,
windy.
It was cold and windy for sure. Yeah, it made for a different type of game, but guys played really well, stuck to our guns, and was proud of them with that result.
You know, Goshen's kind of a team that's had some success in the past and looking good in the future. So a good matchup in the quarterfinal rounds. Getting the lead had to be pretty important, I think. And when Caleb, that was a really crazy angle. He got that first goal in, but jumping out in front, I think is always critical, especially in postseason.
Yeah, huge to get the first goal. We always we tell the guys we want to score the first goal and the last goal. So it's important for us to do that, to get out on the front foot. Thought we had played well in the first half. They came out and pressed us, and we did well to kind of sustain through their pressure. And yeah, Caleb scored some big goals. He scored an unbelievable goal against Goshen earlier in the season, and he's come up big for us on several occasions.
Well, doesn't matter the sport. You play great defense, you've got a chance to win some championships. Sure. And pretty good defense, good goaltending for you guys. Yeah. 11th shutout of the season, pretty impressive stat. Always keeps you in games.
Correct. I think Josh was the difference in that game. You always need, especially older players, you need them to step up and do the things that can separate them. Josh has played in a lot of games like that. Mm-hmm. We have an older group. We also are playing a lot of freshmen. And so it was important that the older players who had played in big games like that stepped up, played like they were comfortable, and Josh certainly played that way.
Speaking of some freshmen, Eddie He's a freshman, I believe.
He is, yeah.
Came in for you guys and scored that big goal. Important goal.
Huge.
Put you up 2-0.
Yeah, Goshen had a wave there probably after 10 minutes in the second half when the game had kind of settled. They came in a wave of pressure on us, and we withstood that, kept playing well, played through it. Josh made a couple of big saves there on a free kick and a deflection save he had to make, kind of a reaction save. And, yeah, I mean, I think Eddie's goal came on the end of about 11 pass buildup. Took a good touch out from his feet, landed on his shooting foot, good technique. And I think the weather played a part there with the skip on the ground and kind of going through a crowd. But you shoot through crowds and good things can happen. You put it on frame, and the guys were really excited for him after that goal.
Well, again, Coach, congratulations on
Thank
that
you.
big win. Thanks for coming on in. And then good luck to you guys against Mount Vernon. Chance
Appreciate
to
it.
maybe get a little bit of revenge on the Cougars.
Yeah, 7 o'clock this Saturday. Would love to have students and support out there. We've been really grateful for all the support we've had. This has been one of the highest attended seasons in a long time here. Awesome. And we've always had good support, but the support this year has been fantastic, and we're really appreciative and hope to see everyone out there Saturday.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on in.
Thanks.
Well, when we come back, the men's basketball season is underway, and we'll be joined by the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Greg Tonigal, right after this. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. The men's basketball season is underway, and the Wildcats participated in the Crossroads League Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference Challenge. And on Saturday, Halloween night or afternoon, the Wildcats in their second game of the season squared off against Aquinas College out of Michigan. Wildcats really got off to a slow start in this basketball game, actually, as Aquinas got out hot and built a quick 7-2 lead in the opening 3 minutes. That was short-lived as the Wildcats responded with 21 of the next 23 points to take a 23-9 lead with 9 minutes left in the half. Indiana Wesleyan led by as many as 19 points in the first half before heading into the locker room up 45-29. Now the Wildcats shot 63% during that first 20 minutes and were led by junior Bob Peters. Later on in the second half, the Wildcats went on a 23-9 run to open up and extend their lead to a game-high 30 points. At one time, it was 68-38, with the Wildcats really command of this basketball game. Now the men came away with the win by a final score of 84-70. Leading the way for the Wildcats were junior Bob Peters with 20 points. He was 8 for 14 from the field on the afternoon. Junior Lane Mehurin finished with 15 points and 6 rebounds. Sophomore Jacob Johnson and Grant Evans both finished the game with 10 points. Now the next Wildcats game will be Friday, November 6th against Union College during the opening night of the Caleb Dimmick Memorial Classic. That'll be an 8 p.m. start. Well, after some big wins to start off the season, joined now by the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Greg Tonigal. We started with Aquinas, your second game first, because we want to spend a little time with you talking about the opening game of the season,
Sure.
That being the big game against Cornerstone. We talked a little bit about this before, but it's a great way to start the season. Number 1 team in the country in Cornerstone. You guys ranked number 2, the last 2 defending national champs. It just totally gives your guys something really to be fired up and excited about as they're getting ready for a season.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, there were a lot of storylines headed into this game with the rankings and the previous national champions, but what it was a measuring stick. I mean, we told our guys going in, this isn't going to make our season, it's not going to break our season, but we're going to find out a little bit about who we are because they're a great basketball club. They return everybody from a national championship team. And it really fueled our entire October practice. I mean, we came in every day with something to prove, something to get better. And that's hard to do that for, consecutive 4 weeks, and I thought our team did that.
As we're going to take a look at some highlights of this Cornerstone game, I was really impressed, quite frankly. You never know the first game of the year offensively how a team's going to do sometimes. You really shot the ball extremely well and was able to jump out to a quick lead. There we see Johnny Marlin, I think that was hitting that 3. No, that was Bob Peters, but I think maybe shocked Cornerstone just a little bit.
Well, we came out, like you said, and made some shots. So did they. But You know, our offense was a lot. I mean, it was ignited with Johnny. I think out of 5 possessions, he hit 4 threes.
Yeah.
But then Bob took over. Then Josh Maywar had a stretch. And if you liked offense, this was a heck of a game to be a part of.
I was wondering how much your team fed off the crowd that night, because that was as good of a crowd as anyone can remember ever here at Indiana Wesleyan. It's just an awesome environment.
Awesome environment. I mean, it was a fun night. You know, they certainly fueled us. They certainly gave us a lot of energy, and we fed off of that.
You see, you talked about Josh Maywar. He was probably, it's hard to, you know, when Johnny scores, 33 points, that's what people like to talk about. But Josh was dominating in that game with, 24 points and 14 rebounds?
Yeah, the thing I think people overlooked were 14 rebounds. I mean, their post player is considered probably the top post player in the entire country, and he is very, very good. Josh had 24 and 14. I mean, he had 24 and I think 4. So to put up 14 rebounds, you have to play awfully hard and play with a high motor to do something like that.
Depth was key, and your bench stepped up. We saw Nate Bubash with the reverse. Grant Evans, I think we're just getting little snippets of what he's able to do. The lefty, he's got a pretty nice touch, doesn't he?
He's starting to figure things out. You know, anytime you transfer, it takes a while to get a feel and to find rhythm. And he's a kid that when he plays in rhythm is pretty good.
Well, I think to his credit, I never got the sense that he was going to try to force something. Sometimes you see that from new guys, want to make their mark quickly or too quick, and I thought he did a good job just getting within the flow of the game and what you guys were trying to do.
He's done a great job of fitting in. He's come in and he's just tried to make his teammates better, and that's what you ask of everybody. And for a transfer to do that early and often, you know, it says a lot about him as a person.
You know, in the second half, you had let them, there was a impressive play in the second half from Jacob Johnson, kind of responding to a little bit of a cornerstone run. You had let them get back in the game at the end of the half with some turnovers, but then the second half, you really never let them get the lead. You were always playing from ahead, even though it was a tight ball game.
Sure.
They never got the lead.
Yeah, I mean, we knew they were going to make a run. They're a great team, right? They didn't fold. I think they showed a lot by, I think they got down 13 maybe in that first half and then fought back within 2 right before the half. But for us to maintain that lead the second half says a lot about our composure, because they hit big shots.
Sure did.
But we came down and we kept answering those shots.
Hit some big free throws down the stretch, too, to cap the game off. I think Johnny Marlin hit a couple free throws. Those were huge.
Yeah, you get the right guys at the line. Bob made some free throws at the end and finished it out.
Well, that was a great weekend, but now it's time to look on to the Caleb Dimmick Classic, and you have a very good ball club in Union coming in quickly, Coach. You have to be ready to play Union, number 7 team in the country. Your schedule is a good one.
Yeah, they won, I believe, 33 games last year. They're very athletic. We'll be probably the most athletic team we play, at least on our schedule all year long. So they present their own challenges to us. They like to run. It's going to be a fun basketball game.
All right. Well, Coach, again, congratulations on the wins, and thanks for coming in and off to a good start this season.
Thanks, Raj.
All right. Well, that's all we have for you this week on Wildcat Week. If you have any comments or suggestions about our show, we'd like to hear from you. You can write us here at the station, WIWTV.com, 4201 South Washington Street, Marion, Indiana, 46953. You can visit our website as well, WIWTV.com. There you can watch past episodes, and that's the place where you can connect with us online. Once again, it's WIWTV.com. Well, we look forward to being back with you next week. So for all of us here, thanks for watching Wildcat Week.